Who is the absolute, unmatched, hands down, bar none, worst sinner ever in Islam? Who is the undefeated, undisputed champion of evil? Who is the all-time king of idolatry? You might think that the answer is Satan. And you'd be wrong, because this is Islam, where Satan always turns out to be the real hero, and someone you might not expect always turns out to be the real villain. Watch what happens when we spend just a few minutes going through Islam's most trusted sources to answer the question, who is the worst sinner ever in Islam? According to the Quran, the worst possible sin is shirk, associating partners with Allah. Surah 4, verse 48 reads, "Surely Allah does not forgive that anything should be associated with him, and forgives what is besides that to whomsoever he pleases. And whoever associates anything with Allah, he devises indeed a great sin." Similarly, in verse 116, we find, "Surely Allah does not forgive that anything should be associated with him, and he forgives what is besides this to whom he pleases. And whoever associates anything with Allah, he indeed strays off into a remote error." So, Allah doesn't forgive associating partners with him, the sin of shirk, but he might forgive anything else. Now, how does a person commit shirk? Well, there are lots of ways to associate partners with Allah. You don't have to actually bow down and worship other gods. Muhammad tells us that if you simply swear by something other than Allah, you're committing shirk. If you say, "I swear on my mother's grave," you're guilty of shirk. Let's look at a few passages from Islam's most trusted sources. Sahih al-Bukhari, 38:36. Narrated Ibn Umar, "The Prophet said, if anybody has to take an oath, he should swear only by Allah. The people of Quraysh used to swear by their fathers, but the Prophet said, do not swear by your fathers." Sahih Muslim, 4257. It was narrated from Abdullah that the Messenger of Allah caught up with Umar bin al-Khattab among a group of riders when Umar was swearing by his father, and the Messenger of Allah told them not to do that and said, "Allah forbids you to swear by your fathers. Whoever wants to swear, let him swear by Allah or else remain silent." Sahih Muslim 4262. It was narrated that Abdurrahman bin Samura said, "The Messenger of Allah said, do not swear by false gods or by your fathers." Sunan Abu Dawud 3248. It was narrated that Abu Hurairah said, "The Messenger of Allah said, do not swear by your fathers, nor by your mothers, nor by the rivals to Allah. Do not swear by anyone but Allah, and do not swear by Allah unless you are telling the truth." There are tons of these passages, but I'm more interested in why Muhammad says we should only swear by Allah. Why should we never swear by anything other than Allah? Sunan Abu Dawud 3251. It was narrated that Sa'd bin Ubaidah said, Ibn Umar heard a man swearing, "No, by the Kaaba." Ibn Umar said to him, "I heard the Messenger of Allah say, whoever swears by something other than Allah, he has committed an act of shirk." So, Ibn Umar heard a man swearing by the Kaaba, "I swear by the Kaaba," and he rebukes the man for swearing by something other than Allah. Why? Because Muhammad said, whoever swears by something other than Allah, he has committed an act of shirk. Anyone who swears by something other than Allah has committed shirk, the worst possible, least forgivable sin. Putting all of this together, since the worst possible sin in Islam is shirk, and since you commit shirk whenever you swear by something other than Allah, we have to conclude that anyone who swears by something other than Allah is committing the worst possible sin in Islam. Now that we understand how shirk works, let's see what Allah swears by in the Quran. In the Quran, Allah swears over and over again by the Quran. Surah 36, verse 2, I swear by the Quran, full of wisdom. Surah 38, verse 1, I swear by the Quran, full of admonition. Surah 43, verse 2, I swear by the book that makes things clear. Surah 50, verse 1, I swear by the glorious Quran. Allah repeatedly swears by the Quran. But Muhammad said that when you swear by something other than Allah, you're making it a partner with Allah. Therefore, the Quran is Allah's partner. It's not very surprising to most of us, since Muslims claim that the Quran is eternal. They tell us that the Quran shares one of Allah's attributes, eternality. So, we might expect Allah to make this eternal book his eternal partner. Allah also swears by Muhammad. Surah 15, verse 72, Verily, by thy life, O Prophet, in their wild intoxication they wander in distraction, to and fro. Allah swears by Muhammad's life, making Muhammad a partner with Allah. This shouldn't be surprising either, since Muslims obviously don't treat Muhammad like a mere human being or even like a mere prophet. Draw a picture of Moses, no Muslims riot. Draw a picture of Muhammad, someone has to die. Now it all makes sense. Muhammad is Allah's partner. But Allah has angelic partners too. Surah 77, verse 5, I swear by the angels who bring down the revelation. Surah 79, verse 1, I swear by the angels who violently pull out the souls of the wicked. Allah swears by the angels. But didn't Muhammad say that when you swear by something other than Allah, you've set it up as a partner with Allah? So angels are partners with Allah. Allah must have been quite lonely, though, because He made all kinds of partners. Surah 81, verse 15, I swear by the stars. 85:1, I swear by the mansions of the stars. 56:75, I swear by the falling of stars. 91:1, I swear by the sun and its brilliance. 74:32, I swear by the moon. 89:1, I swear by the daybreak. 84:16, I swear by the sunset redness. 92:1, I swear by the night when it draws a veil. 86:11, I swear by the rain-giving heavens. 51:1, I swear by the wind that scatters far and wide. 91, I swear by this city, Mecca. 68:1, I swear by the pen. 52:1, I swear by the mountain. 95:1-3, I swear by the fig and the olive and Mount Sinai and this city made secure. Wow, that's a lot of partners. At this point, you're probably thinking to yourself, David, if Muhammad says that swearing by something other than Allah is shirk, and Allah swears by all these other things, making all of them partners with himself, Islam isn't really a monotheistic religion. It's polytheistic. If that's what you're thinking, you're only partially right. Islam isn't purely polytheistic. And you'll see why in Surah 69, verses 38-39. Allah declares, I swear by that which you see and that which you do not see. Allah swears by that which you see and by that which you don't see. Allah swears by everything seen and by everything unseen. But guess what? That's literally everything. There are only two kinds of things that are seen and things that are unseen. Allah swears by all of them. This means that Allah swears by absolutely everything, which makes everything a partner with Allah. Polytheism is the claim that there are multiple gods. Pantheism is the claim that everything is God. So Islam would be more accurately described as some kind of polytheism-pantheism hybrid. Think about this for a moment. Allah swears by what you can see. You can see a pig, so Allah swears by a pig. Muhammad says that when you swear by something other than Allah, you've made it Allah's partner. Hence, Allah has made a pig his partner. Not according to me, according to Muhammad. I'm just following Muhammad's claims to their logical conclusion because his followers never do. You can see pagan idols, so Allah swears by them, making them his partners. You can see a bottle of whiskey, so Allah swears by a bottle of whiskey, making a bottle of whiskey his partner. You can see me and the apostate prophet and Robert Spencer and Tommy Robinson and Hatun Tash, so Allah swears by all of us, making all of us his partners. You can't see Jai and DOC yet, but Allah swears by the unseen too, so Allah swears by Jai and DOC, making Jai and DOC his partners. Why do you complain about us so much? How dare you complain about Allah's partners? Allah swears by everything seen and unseen. He swears by Zionists and by atheists and by Muhammad cartoons and by dogs and by toilets and by what's in toilets. And when Allah swore by all these things from all eternity in his eternal partner, the Quran, he associated all of them with himself, thereby committing more shirk than the worst Meccan polytheist could ever dream of. But it gets worse, because according to the Quran, the more knowledge you have about right and wrong, the greater your guilt if you sin. In Surah 2, verse 22, Allah commands, "Do not set up rivals to Allah while you know." While you know, i.e., if you know better. This is why Muhammad's companions, who started off as pagans, could be forgiven of their shirk. They didn't know any better. The more knowledge you have, the more responsible you are. But Allah's knowledge is supposedly greater than anyone else's, which means that Allah knew exactly what he was doing when he set up literally everything as his partner. Since Allah has the most knowledge, and since he's committed the most shirk, he is by far the worst sinner who's ever existed, according to Islam. Muslims, if you don't agree with this conclusion, you need to tell me, where did I make a mistake? My entire argument is based on two facts. Fact number one, Muhammad said that swearing by anything other than Allah is shirk. Fact number two, Allah swears by literally everything. Allah swears by the Quran, and by Muhammad, and by the angels, and by the California angels, and by the California raisins, and by sun-made raisins, and by the sun that makes them, and by the moon, and by moon pies, and by cow pies. Allah swears by everything. So tell me who's wrong. Was Muhammad wrong when he explained shirk? If so, what else was he wrong about? Or is the Quran wrong when it says that Allah swears by everything seen and unseen? I'd like to know, because if Muhammad and the Quran are both right, then Allah has committed more shirk than anyone else ever. And since shirk is the worst possible sin, and Allah can't appeal to ignorance, that would make Allah the worst of all sinners and the most guilty of all sinners. My goodness, how will he ever forgive himself? Do you know what the Muslim response to this is? I know, because I've asked them about it. The response is, well, the rules don't apply to Allah. For instance, Allah can command you not to kill, but that doesn't mean that Allah isn't allowed to kill. The rules he makes don't apply to him. Great, so Allah tells us not to commit shirk, but he can commit all the shirk he wants. In fact, since Allah's rules about shirk don't apply to him, he can spend all day, every day, bowing down to pagan idols and worshiping them. He tells us not to do it, but the rules don't apply to him. So Allah is free to be the supreme king of all pagans if he wants. Makes sense? This is a pattern I've been noticing in Islam. On the surface, some of Islam's teachings seem appealing. Believe in one God, pray, fast, give to charity. Awesome. Where do we sign up? But as soon as you dig a little deeper, you always find blasphemous nonsense. Believe in one God, who happens to be the worst sinner imaginable according to his own prophet. Pray to a God who commits more shirk than anyone else according to his own prophet. Can't sign up for that. Does anyone else keep getting the impression that Islam is really from Satan, masquerading as God, and that because he's Satan, he can't stop bragging about himself? He's like a forger who makes a forgery of a famous painting, but he can't resist adding his own signature because he's just too proud of his masterpiece.
You're proud of that. You're proud of that. You're proud of that. It just backfired on you. You're proud of that. You're proud of that. You're proud of that. It just backfired on you. This is a part of a religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah?